it has been quite a long period since I did a video on here, but I'm so glad to be back and I'm so glad that we get to continue this series. And I received quite some good feedback from a couple of people that these videos were really helpful to them, and that really means a lot to me, and that is why I'm so happy that I get to continue with this. And yeah, so the question here tells us that given an array nums with n objects colored red, white, or blue, we are supposed to sort them in place so that objects of the same color are adjacent with the colors in the order of red, white, and blue. We're also told to use the integers of 0, 1, and 2 to represent color the red, white, and blue respectively. And then we're given a follow-up and told that if we can solve this problem without using the library's sort function. And we're also told to come up with a one-pass algorithm which will only use 0, 1 constant space. So here's an example. If you're given 2, 0, 2, 1, 1, 0, the output will be sorted whereby we'll have 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. Same to this. Okay, so how do we go about this problem? So there's many ways of approaching this problem, and of course some of the instant solutions that someone would think about here, we can use the sort function because Python has an inbuilt sort function, so we can use that, but then again we've been told not to use it. Another approach that someone could think about is that they could use the counting sort. So the counting sort would be a straightforward approach when it comes to solving this, but then again the counting sort has one problem. The counting sort has space complexity of 0n. That means that if the array is big, we would actually occupy a lot of space, and we do not want that. So that is why we are being told if we can come up with a one-pass algorithm which will only use 0, 1 constant space. So, and that is when we will have to think of a more optimal solution. So we're going to have a visual representation of how to go about this. So let's say we have an array of 2, 1, 0, and 2, and we want to go ahead and sort it so that eventually we come up with 0, 1, 2, and 2. So as we can see, we have the number 0, 1, and 2. What we can do is that we can divide them into 3 different pointers. So in this case, you're going to have a left pointer, which will mostly point to 0. And then we're going to have a right pointer, which will point to 2. And then we're going to have a current that will use to check against the current number. Okay? So when it comes to this array, 2, 1, 0, and 2, the number 2 will be our left as well as our current, and then this number 2 here will also be our right. Okay, so what we're going to do is that we're going to check against the current number and check whether they're equal to 2 or 0, and then swap them respective of their position. So if the current number is 2, we swap it with the right, and if the current number is 0, we go ahead and swap it with the left. Okay, so let's do a fast swap. We have the current number here is equals to 2, so we're going to go ahead and swap it with the number on the right. So as you can see here, this is quite different because on our first swap nothing is going to change, because when you swap 2 with 2, we'll still have the same array, as you can see. However, the difference is after every swap you're going to decrement the right. Okay, so we'll go ahead and decrement the right so that 0 will now be our right. Okay, so this is now our array after the first swap. We have this as our left pointer, we have our current, but then again 0 will now be our right pointer. Okay, so and then we'll go ahead and check our current number. It's equal to 2, so we'll go ahead and swap it with the right. So in this time around, we'll have 0, we'll have 1, we'll have 2, and then we'll have 2. So as you can see, it's already sorted, but it's a good idea to keep doing this until you finish the swapping. So in this case, our right will be decremented to 1, and then this 0 here will be our left and our current. So when you keep doing that, eventually it will return a sorted array of 0, 1, 2, and 2. Okay, I hope this gives you a picture of how to go about this. We're going to go ahead and solve this in code and see how to approach this in a program. So this is how you're going to approach this problem. You're going to have a left pointer. We're also going to have a right pointer, as explained, and we're also going to have a current pointer. So in this case, we'll have left initialized to 0. We'll also have the current initialized to 0, and then we're going to have the right, which is going to be the length of the nums minus 1. So this means that this is going to be the last digit of the array. Okay, so we're going to iterate through the array, and we're going to do that until we get to a point whereby the current number is not less than or equals to the number on the right. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So while current is less than or equals to right, we'll go ahead and do our checks. So in this case, we're going to check for 0. So we're going to go ahead and see if the number and the current is equals to 0. We're going to go ahead and swap it with a left. So we're going to do this. Nums left and nums current is equals to nums current, and then we go ahead and swap it with a left. And while doing that, we're going to increment the number on the left and also increment our current pointer. Okay, else if we're also going to do another check, and in this case we're going to check against 2. So we're going to check and see if our current is equals to 2, and while doing that, we'll go ahead and swap it with a right. Okay, so we're going to have a nums current and nums right. So we're going to swap this, and this is what we're going to have. We're going to have swap it to the right, and this is it. So while doing that, we're going to decrement the right, and otherwise, if none of these conditions are met, we'll just go ahead and increment the current and keep iterating. Okay, so this is the solution. Let's go ahead and see if it actually gives us our expected outcome. And yes, so as you can see, this is correct. If we go ahead and submit it, our solution actually works and it's accepted. And that is how to approach this problem in case you're asked during an interview setting, or in case you're learning how to deal with arrays or manipulate arrays. So yeah, feel free to comment down below in case you have another solution of how to go about this. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you on the next problem. So happy coding and happy holidays.